Buenos días, bienvenidos a este primer acto que vamos a realizar de, espero que un largo ciclo de encuentros con cineastas. En este caso nos acompaña Abid Khan, que con motivo del estreno de su largometraje en Granada, pues gracias a la mediación de Film Granada, pues hemos tenido la oportunidad de que nos acompañe. Hubiéramos querido que el acto fuera más multitudinario, pero hemos tenido la mala suerte de que hoy se ha convocado una huelga de estudiantes y por razones directas o indirectas tenemos menos público que el que quisiéramos, pero un magnífico público con el cual vamos a desarrollar esta actividad y bueno, encima vamos a estrenar estas nuevas instalaciones o estas instalaciones muy mejoradas con todos los nuevos equipos de HD y todo el sistema de control. En este caso agradecer muy especialmente a Abid el haber querido estar con nosotros. Para la facultad es muy importante la colaboración con la oficina de la Diputación, primero porque era una aspiración de la propia facultad el que existiera, y luego porque se ha dado la circunstancia magnífica de que al frente de la oficina está Julio, que además de profesor de la casa, pues está sacando ahora adelante con muchísimo esfuerzo y con mucho trabajo este nuevo reto, ¿no? La película de Abid se hizo antes de que existiera la oficina, pero el hecho de que hayan establecido contacto y que estemos aquí y que se pueda desarrollar este acto, pues significa que esa oficina, que esa Filming en Granada, va a establecer una dinámica que desde hace mucho tiempo todos deseábamos que fuera distinta. En este momento sabemos que a base de tu trabajo y de tu esfuerzo, que está dando unos resultados increíbles en el poco tiempo que lleva funcionando, ¿no? Tanto de atracción de rodajes como de visibilidad de Granada. Y bueno, el deseo desde la facultad es que estrechemos esos vínculos y que podamos hacer más actividades en el futuro, no solo ampliar y desarrollar este ciclo, que por el propio hecho de que exista la oficina va a hacer que muchos directores y muchos artistas vengan por Granada, y vamos a intentar en la medida de lo posible que esa presencia en Granada a través de la oficina pues se convierta también en una presencia en la facultad y en hacer crecer un poco lo que es la aspiración que tenemos, ¿no? Que es mejorar la formación de nuestros estudiantes y en la medida de lo posible que tengan un contacto lo más certero, lo más directo y lo más enriquecedor posible con el propio sector profesional. Por eso para nosotros es un motivo de alegría el estar aquí. El decano le hubiera gustado haber presentado el acto, pero tenía una cosa a la misma hora y nos ha dicho que en el momento que pueda escaparse se unirá a nosotros, o sea que es posible que antes de que acabemos la grabación y el acto esté con nosotros, pero como digo, con muchas ganas de que esta sea la primera. Esta ya es en sí misma muy interesante. Estoy deseando poder ver mañana el estreno de la película y bueno, para quien hemos estudiado en Granada y hemos vivido Granada, el que haya una visión de esta ciudad y que se haga pues de la manera que la ha hecho, bueno, es motivo de orgullo, de alegría, y espero que en el futuro pues tengamos muchas más oportunidades de tenerte entre nosotros y de poder seguir viendo tus trabajos, y que ese vínculo con Granada que la película sin lugar a dudas establece, pues se enriquezca en el futuro, ¿no? En parte el trabajo de la oficina es también conseguir que personas que hayan visto la película después quieran ver Granada. Yo estoy seguro que va a pasar porque me da la impresión de que tiene una mirada muy buena con nuestra ciudad y que retratas una ciudad muy acogedora y cosmopolita en algunos aspectos, y que eso, ya digo, es un factor que estoy seguro que Julio va a convertir después en riqueza, sobre todo de los espectadores y de las personas que entren en contacto con la ciudad y con el entorno a través del cine, que es un poco la idea de toda esta historia. Pues muchas gracias por habernos traído, Abid, y te doy la palabra para que tú lo presentes y nos cuentes.
Muy bien, Carlos, muchas gracias a ti como vicedecano y al resto del equipo de Canal por esta colaboración que vamos a iniciar con este encuentro con Abid. La idea es que hagamos encuentros cada cierto tiempo y que colaboremos de una forma formal o informal entre la oficina que yo coordino y la facultad. Y sobre todo el objetivo es acercar a profesionales, a gente que ha rodado en Granada o que va a rodar en Granada, incluso a profesionales de Granada, a la facultad, para que el contacto con los estudiantes sea mayor y podamos tener un lugar de encuentro entre estudiantes y profesionales, y ellos cuenten su experiencia y los estudiantes puedan resolver sus dudas, ¿no?, sobre los distintos oficios del audiovisual. En este primer episodio de esta colaboración, este primer encuentro, es con un director y guionista británico, Abid Khan. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, muchas gracias. Thank you for inviting me. And I agree with everything Carlos said. So thank you so much for giving the opportunity to talk to the students. It's a real pleasure.
Abid es un director británico con un estilo único, que tiene una amplia experiencia en producción audiovisual y cuyo primer largo se ha rodado íntegramente en Granada, se llama Granada Nights, se rodó en la ciudad de Granada durante el año 2018 y se estrenó en el Reino Unido este mes de mayo, el pasado mes de mayo, con bastante éxito de audiencia y de crítica. Y ha sido seleccionado en varios festivales, entre otros la Film London Screenings, y ha ganado premios, por ejemplo, como el de Mejor Película en el Barnfield Festival del 2020. Y Abid está aquí en Granada porque mañana estrena la película, es la premier de Granada Nights, dentro del Festival de Cine Premios Lorca de Granada. Se estrena en los cines Megarama y ha sido una de las películas internacionales seleccionadas para este festival de Granada, que cumple su segunda edición. Abid, aparte de esta película, ha colaborado también con el diario británico The Guardian y con la marca de diseño Adobe como director innovador en su campaña Creative Change. Y acumula, es un director de cine, novel, con su primera película, pero también su background, su trayectoria, atesora 15 años de experiencia en la industria de la publicidad, trabajando como diseñador en campañas globales para clientes como Universal Pictures, Paramount, Sony Pictures y Nike. Bueno, pues muchas gracias de nuevo. Thank you for coming, for meeting with the students. It's your turn. We appreciate your collaboration in this meeting, and all the students like your talk about your experience and your background in the audiovisual industry. And when you want, you can talk.
Yeah, so I guess for me it started when I was 16, 17. I lied to get a job in the cinema. And I worked as a 16-year-old when you're supposed to be 18, and I worked in the cinema for 2-3 years. I was an usher ripping tickets, okay. And I was watching a lot of movies, and I watched these movies, and that was my film school, my start of my film school, because we were watching movies maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 times. I think I watched Titanic 9 times. It's crazy. It's too much. But after a while, you start to analyze and you look at scenes and you learn so much of how the scene works. Everything from why they place the camera to blocking to the actors' performances. So I think that was my initial film school. And this passion for film started from working in the cinema. Yeah. But my degree was computing. So it's very analytical. It's not, you know, it was very programming, C++, you know, very analytical. Because my brain is kind of it can be very analytical. And also, you know, computing is a good degree to get a good job. And this is, you know, for me, I was thinking about the future and working and, you know. But the problem was, during my degree, I realized I was more creative. Sometimes it's very hard to suppress your creative energies. So you need an outlet. So I was doing things in my spare time, small videos, music videos. I started directing a little bit more. I was doing design work. But the problem was I couldn't change my degree to film degree. It was too late. I did 2 years and I didn't want to waste my degree. So I decided to change to multimedia design because it was almost computing, multimedia, to use the tools, Adobe and all these tools, and then to filmmaking. So this was my idea. This is what I was going to do. And so it was not the traditional way. But still, I lacked the knowledge, so I did lots of short courses in the evenings and afternoons. Usually, you know, I was working, I was paying for them. Small courses. And I picked up stuff like directing, working with actors, producing, cinematography, writing, producing. But the problem was I was young, early 20s, and there's too many distractions when you're in the early 20s. So I went traveling because I enjoyed it. I loved traveling. So I backpacked around Europe, Southeast Asia. My parents were from Pakistan, so around Pakistan, North Pakistan is beautiful, around these areas. So I was traveling a lot, meeting a lot of foreign people, having a great time, as you can imagine, you know, being a student and young and getting drunk and having, you know, fun. But the experience was all useful because in my mind I was collecting stories and information and it wasn't a waste. You know, I think sometimes what's important, you know, to remember that sometimes being idle, not doing anything, there's value in not doing anything. But maybe you just don't see it yet. And for me, that value came later with Granada Nights. And then I came to study in Spain, to Granada. One of my travels, somebody recommended to come to Granada. I knew nothing about Granada. Alhambra Palace, that's it. Mm-hmm. And then I came to study here, and I thought I was very cultured because I traveled, and you know, I'm Pakistani parents, born in the UK. But when I got to Granada, I realized, one, not many people speak English, and two, I'm not that cultured as I think I am. And it took me maybe, you know, I studied Spanish for 1 month here, and then I ended up living here for maybe 9-10 months. And I just learned a lot about different cultures, not just Spanish culture, but different cultures, but history of culture, history of Spain and Andalusia, and a lot about myself as well. And of course, I had some fun while I was here. It was good. I enjoyed myself, but I was also kind of looking for something to say because I had never made a film before this. And I'm not the type of person to make many short films or to pick up a camera and just to shoot stuff. I wanted to, if I was going to do a film, it had to mean something. It had to come from the heart because it's a very, very hard process. It takes many years. It's a struggle. So you need to have something that you want to say, something important. And it has to be from the heart. It has to be from passion. This is the fire that you feed yourself, this fuel to keep going. Because there's nobody there, you know, giving you money or to encourage you. You are the strongest person in your project. So, so yeah, I had something to say. I had my experience in Granada with other foreign students, the family that we made, the connections. It was important. And then I started writing and making the film. So it took a while. It took me probably, I would say, 3 years of solid writing and development, maybe 2 years of producing. It took 21 days of film shoot, and then we came back to reshoot and pickups for 7 days. Post-production took 4 or 5 months, but I think overall the whole cycle of the film maybe took 7 years. But the initial idea was 12 years ago. So 12 years ago I had the idea of making a movie, but only in the last 7 years I got a team together and was able to do it. Because I think also, I mean, for the students as well, you learn how to make a movie. Anyone can make a movie now. You can, the technology is cheap, but making a movie is half the job. Getting it out there is difficult. Like getting into festivals, getting people to see it. We don't have the budgets of studios, so making a film is only 50%. Getting it out there is the other 50%. And I knew, I was a student of film, worked in cinema and did some courses. I didn't know the industry, and I thought it was important to know the industry. So the last 5, 6 years, I went to the Cannes Film Festival, Berlin Film Festival, Camera Image in Poland, BFI, and to learn about the industry. But went to the Spanish in Berlin is a big area. Meet Spanish producers, talk about the film. They see me every single year, and they see me at the beginning where I have nothing but the poster design and story, synopsis. Next year they see me again, and I have a little bit more story. The script is finished. Third year, I'm starting pre-production. Fourth year, it's wrapped. Fifth year, we're winning awards. It's like they see the journey. And although they don't work with me, the industry can recognize the journey. And I think it's important for students to go to the film markets and realize that making a movie, half of it is marketing, it's distribution. Because anyone can make a movie and put it on the internet, it's easy. It's like, but if you want to make an impact, if you want to get to the biggest audience, you have to learn everything about social media, about distribution, and talk to people, because it's a very small industry. And the people I met actors in my film from film festivals, some of them from film festivals. I think if I didn't go to these film festivals, these markets, where people buy and sell movies, I don't think Granada Nights would be made, because there's so much people help me from these places, from advice, free advice. And also if you meet sales agents, they talk to you and they can sell you a movie once you made it. So I think this is very, very important in the education of making a film, and making a film that goes to cinemas. Because I think it should be hopefully everyone's dream to make films for cinema, but media is changing as well, so people make it for YouTube and other places, it's fine. But if you're making art house movies, or you really want to make an impact, going to film festivals is really important. And you meet a lot of programmers at the markets, the film markets and the film festivals, and you get to speak to them, and they get to know your movie, and they get to follow the journey. And then when you make it, they watch your movie. It's a lot easier than maybe calling them. And it's a lot easier than in England we say cold calling, when you just pick up the phone and you ring someone and say, oh, please have a look at my script, have a look at my movie. And people are like, well, why? Why would I waste my time reading a script for 3 hours? Like, I don't know you, I've got better things to do in my time. Why should I watch a movie if it has no famous actors in, or I don't know, what it's about? So I think it is an industry about relationships and friendships, but, if they know you a little bit, if you meet them at the festival, the market, you swap business cards, I think this really, really helps to get into the industry, because it's tough to get in.
Do you think it's more important marketing and relations that original idea and a script?
Well, I think from art, if you're talking about art, no, it's not important. Marketing's not important, because art is what you create. You create for expression. So it doesn't matter if one person sees it or 100. It does not matter. So, but if your goal is to reach as many people as possible because you have a very important message, I don't know, about the environment or climate change or something, or for us, to stop bigotry and intolerance, and you want to get it as much as possible, then I think it's important to know about distribution. I think you have to. It's important for the marketing to know it for the movie, to get it out there. But it's every filmmaker, every student has their own goal, and you need to know if your goal is reach number of people, because you could put it on a torrent and do it pirated, and it will go everywhere, and everyone will see your movie. So that's great if you want to do that, but if you have to pay people back and you have to pay yourself back, then money is maybe your goal, and getting the right distribution deal and sales agents, so they don't, take advantage of you, and you get the right deal for you, then that's important. Or maybe film festivals is important because you want to make more movies and more, you want to be known as an art house director that does a body of work. Because you're not one film, you're a body of work. A director is always a body of work. When we think about famous directors, it's not just one film, two films, it's a body of work. And you want to create this body of work. So film festival is the best thing. You get one award or you get selected, then they'll maybe look at your film next year. It's no guarantee, of course, sometimes there is, it's politics, but yeah, it's just kind of like, it's important. Did I answer your question? I'm not sure.
Yeah. What do you feel when you watch your story in the screen? You wrote the script
1500 years ago. That's what it feels like.
Okay, yeah, sorry. And then you shooting for 21 days, and then post-production, and finally, you can watch your story in a big screen, in a theater or so, and what do you feel? Your first movie?
I think, I think it's similar to how a lot of people feel now when they watch a movie after COVID. To be in a room with other people, to hear the reaction, that's beautiful. Like that's what cinema was created for, and we forgot that sometimes. We get spoiled by cinema. We see movies on the screen and we get used to it and we get lazy. We watch films at home with our family, which is good. But there's something special about cinema, to be in a room, to hear people, to have that collective experience, to see it. It's not just the size of the screen or the sound, it's that collective experience. And for me, after COVID and after the long journey, to sit in a room, to hear people, they're laughing at some moments. They're making this big groan. I won't ruin the film for you, but there's some moments in the film where people go, "Oh no!" And it's just like it's such a great feeling to hear that, to experience that. Because I think having a reaction to film is such a compliment to a director. I think to any filmmaker.
And how do you change your vision of Granada, the city of Granada, from the beginning to your first trips to Granada to write the script, and then to today from the premiere of the movie? What kind of things change in your mind, in your brain about Granada, your vision of Granada?
To be honest, my vision of Granada hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Because I think, knowing about Granada, knowing about the history of Granada, and knowing about, it's funny, Erasmus study abroad, the experience is a very interesting experience. People from different nationalities, cultures, they come together, they sit at a table and they order tapas. And they talk about Spain, they talk about the language, and they have this shared new experience, but they're all from different places. And together they create a strong bond, a unity. And Granada had this. Erasmus is a small, like almost a metaphor of what the history of Granada is, with all the cultures, the Jews, the Muslims, Christians, all the factions, the Visigoths before, all this. And when Granada prospered, when it was a success, is when all these people came together in unity to share ideas, and the university is the foundation of this, the culture, arts, bringing things from different cultures. And this movie is a mosaic of different cultures as well, different locations in Granada. And I think it's, my view on Granada hasn't changed. I think when people do come together, when we're more tolerant of other cultures and religions, I think there's a lot of good things that happen. But there's also the negative, when people are ill-tolerant, racism and xenophobia, and of course Brexit recently, and COVID as well, how we treat people from different cultures. A lot of work needs to be done on this. So it's not, we shouldn't be happy and think that Granada's dark times have gone and they're in the past and we're in a great new world right now, because it's, we should be after COVID, we should be in a better world. We were coming together and doing the right things, but there's still division. There's still a lot of political arguments and problems, and I just wish that it'd be more unity. But I think for me it hasn't changed because people embraced me like when I came. You know, people who worked in the bars, the cafes, the bakery, they embraced me. They brought me in. They helped me to speak Spanish. They really made me part of the city, and that hasn't changed. Every single time I come here, that hasn't changed. It's the people, really. Yeah.
What's the pros and cons that living in London and then shooting in Granada?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, so of course the con is that you can't speak to people, you can't be with people. It's a bit hard, it's a bit difficult. But you know, with technology, with Zoom, we're talking to people. We had a really good production manager in Valencia, Adrian Valido, and he was very good. He kind of like almost like co-produced the film. He really managed it, and it was kind of a little bit easier because some people already knew me. I wrote the script on location, so for 3 or 4 or 5 years I came here and I wrote in the cafes at the university and on location. If the scene was in a particular location in a bar, I would go to that bar and I would sit there and I would write and stuff. So I got to know the people who run the place, and they say, oh, come back and you can shoot for free. So it started to become, the community started to come behind the film. We did a crowdfunding campaign as well to get a little bit of money together, and yeah, it kind of really organically made it easier. Of course, you know, sometimes it's hard to get talent here because it's either students who are learning, and then when they make it, they go out and they go to London or they go to Barcelona, and sometimes it's hard to find, you know, established. It's changing. The city is changing, which is wonderful to see that there's so many productions coming and happening here, and so many people based in Granada making good stuff. So it's really exciting. I think when we were doing our film, it was a bit difficult, really. But yeah, you know, we managed to make it work. We brought the head of Ds from the UK, and we worked with Filmosofia Film School, who provided a lot of second ADs and second ACs and runners and people who worked on the production. So that was really good mix of people. And so we brought that kind of knowledge and experience and professionalism, you could say, from the UK, and the knowledge and experience of people living here. So we just mixed the both, and I think it's important to create something very authentic for this particular film, to create something authentic. So it made sense to use the people of Granada and work with the organizations and make something.
How many people working in the crew? About 20 people.
In the whole crew?
Yes, in shooting.
Oh, the whole
shooting
crew.
days.
So for the Easter processions, it was very small. We reduced it to 6 or 7 because, as you know, the city is very busy. So you have to be very light, minimal. And then for the main shoot in April, for like 20, 21 days, I think we had about 30, 35. We had quite a lot. So we had a good amount of people. Everybody was kind of doing at least one job in a way.
Do you need a permit for shooting in the city?
Yes, you need a permit to shoot in the city. Yeah. We never got one, so still waiting 3 years later.
Yes.
But no, they were good. They helped us with parking and stuff like this, and advice. You know, things have changed a lot since we shot. You know, as you know, there's a lot of organisations that help now. But yeah, you need permits everywhere. You need permissions as well. I mean, that was an important thing, mixing documentary and fiction, is that you can't have people in the shot. You have to ask permission. So it's important to get things signed and get everything sorted. Locations as well, securing the locations. You can't always steal locations. I didn't steal any.
You say the movie is about youth, but not students' life or university students.
Well, the story is about a guy who comes to Spain to be with his girlfriend. He doesn't come to Spain for Granada. He doesn't care for this. He's not even a tourist. He's just a guy coming for a girl. Then it doesn't work out. He starts to become a tourist. He lives in a hostel. He starts to open up his world. He starts to meet Erasmus students, and slowly he becomes more engrossed in the culture in the city, and becomes part of the city. So this sense, he finds a sense of belonging, a home through the friends he meets and the city itself. Because the city, I feel like, the city is beautiful, it's amazing, but I think it facilitates these interactions, these connections. You know, I think it's not as crazy as bigger cities where you can get lost in. This is perfect size, it's perfect place. It's I think the culture really helps this. So there's a story about this guy who almost from a non-tourist to someone who belongs in the city. But the themes, I mean, because the film was taken, it took a long time to kind of write and make the film. The distance between my age and when I studied here started becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I started looking at the film in a different perspective, in a perspective as an old person looking, but as a nostalgia, in a way. Nostalgia, not just for Erasmus or the experience or backpacking, but nostalgia for youth. So, and if you think about it, you know, our lives are very small. You know, the way that, well, if you think about how humans on this earth, we are a very small period of time in the history of Earth. And our lives, 80, 90 years, it's just very short. And our youth, even shorter. Even Erasmus study, it's like 3 months, 6 months, that's it. You're never going to get that again. So it became this idea, the theme that youth is fleeting. It's short, it's making the most of it, understanding people come into your lives and they leave, and the importance of kind of living in the moment, really, yeah. It's, I think sometimes we forget about this. And I think when we're young, we don't care. We just really don't give a shit. But I think when you get older, you start to think more about when you were younger, and it's kind of this, it's a kind of homage to this, in a way.
Can you show us a trailer?
Yes, love to. So.
Helen?
Ben, you're in Spain.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing here?
I missed you.
Ben, I don't love you anymore.
It's over.
That struggle is like energy.
Yeah, well, I feel it.
Good. So if you feel it, you have to stay here. And you have to embrace it before you can move on.
Make yourself busy, distract yourself with meeting people and having a little bit of fun. And eventually, you're gonna forget about it.
What the fuck are you doing, man? What are you doing here?
Great friends.
I came here for the wrong reasons.
You have a good thing going on here.
This moment, this is all we got. We're never going to be here again, us together. So let's make the most of it, guys, because this is it.
You asked about home. It's not where you were born, or the color of your skin. It's a feeling, a connection, a sense of belonging.
Okay. The casting is a mix between British actors and Spanish actors?
It's a mix between British, Spanish, Portuguese, Swedish, American, Italian, French. Yeah, that's about it, I think. I think so, yeah. Yeah, and Spanish. I mean, maybe a lot of the supporting cast is Spanish because of we shoot here. But yeah, it's a mixture.
Did you make the casting in UK or?
We started in the UK.
Okay.
So we got a couple of leads, and then for the European actors like Óscar Casas, we put the casting call out in Spain. Our casting director did.
It's a popular actor in these days, Óscar Casas.
Yeah. I mean, I think he was kind of popular before, but we didn't. To be honest, we didn't know that. We did a casting call, and lots of people gave an audition on video and sent it to us. They call it self-tapes. And I was watching his self-tapes, and Óscar did like a really, really great self-tape. And then I had a conversation with him over kind of Skype video call, and he was perfect for the job, but we didn't know anything about him. We didn't know anything about his. It's not important, to be honest. It's that he did a good audition, and he was perfect for Lucas, and he brought an energy to the role that we really, really needed, to be honest. So, yeah, I know he's getting better and better. I honestly believe that he will win the Goya soon, you know, like eventually, because I think he'll be one of the top actors in Spain.
But Antonio Aakeel and Quintessa Swindell is big actors, young actors, but with a special career in UK, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Antonio has just gone better and better. I mean, he's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's crazy. He's in the Gary Oldman TV series, Apple TV series, Slow Horses. He's done lots for BBC and movies. He's getting, you know, he was in Tomb Raider for a small part, and then he's done a lot of stuff, and he's growing so well. And Quintessa has just exploded in America. I think Granada Nights was her first movie, and now like she's done a few Netflix series, and now she is in a DC movie called Black Adam coming next year with The Rock. She's playing a major role as a superhero. And she didn't do anything before our film, you know. Yeah. But she did a very, very good self-tape. And I think, you know, I think this is one of the lessons, you know, instead of chasing stars and stuff like this, is don't do that and just chase people who are just very good at what they do and for that particular role. And these people did, incredible, like, talented kids. They're not kids anymore, unfortunately, but they're really good.
Can you give me more details about the shooting days?
So during Semana Santa, we shoot, I think, for 3 days, maybe with a break in between, to get a lot of the Easter procession documentary footage. And then we took a break for 3 or 4 days, and we shot for 21 days. And then we came back in June or July to shoot for 7 days. Because we shot and there was quite a lot of rain, so we had to change the script, and we put this in the script. So I think in total we shot maybe for 28 days. So for an indie film, I think that's good. Usually it's 21 days, usually.
Can you tell a little bit about the budget? It's a low-cost project, no? I think.
How much do you think?
Yeah.
How much do you think the budget is?
I don't know. 1 million?
The budget is whatever you think it is.
It seems good. It seems nice. It's I think 200 euro.
It's whatever you think it is. It's like, you know, if someone thinks it's 200 or 1 million, it's, you know, it's
in the middle.
It doesn't matter. It's I'm not going to tell you.
Okay.
I can't tell you. I'm not allowed to tell you. But it's, you know, let's just say it was a struggle to get, you know, the money, because we did the crowdfunding. You know, we had investors, we had the tax break. So the UK tax break. That's one of the advantages of working, the pros of working in UK, because in Spain at the time there was no tax break. Now there is, I think, but the tax break is when you spend something on a movie and then you get like 30%, I think, in the UK, 25 in the UK back, yeah.
In Spain, 25.
Yeah. But in Spain is a minimum. I think you have a budget of 1 million.
1 million.
Yeah. In UK, there's no minimum. Yeah. You could do it for short films.
Yeah.
For a couple of thousand, you could get 25% back. So that's the advantages of UK filmmaking, you could say, the pros.
Carlos asked you about what do you think about this movie is the beginning of a TV series?
Oh, yes.
The base for a TV series for Netflix or another platform? Yeah,
I think because in 85 minutes, you can't get into Granada, the culture. It's only, you can skim the top. You can show a little bit of everything. Yeah. And I think to go deeper into the culture, to real Spain, and I think you need a longer format, and TV is best for this format, because you can have one episode following a different character or a different person as you do in TV, and you can really go not just to Granada but Andalus. I think this whole region, Andalusia, there's so much beauty, so much that I think people outside of Spain don't know. Many people don't know in the UK about Granada. Like, they think we have a TV company called Granada Television. We used to in Manchester. They think it's to do with the TV company. So show other parts of Andalusia that people don't know about. And And yes, we're in development, so we've got a story outline, we're writing the episodes, and we hope to maybe get interest from a platform to maybe launch it with. So I think it's important to work with a TV channel or a platform to kind of launch the project.
Okay. And do you have any advice for the students? Some of them want to be a director or filmmaker or a screenwriter. Do you have any advice for young people?
Yeah, I mean, if I look back at my journey and speaking to other directors as well, my friends who've become directors, and I'd say it's a slow process. I think if you think you're going to be a success overnight, and sometimes maybe it feels like this is a success, is like over a week or something, but it's not. It's a very, very long process. It's very slow. You have to be patient. You have to be self-motivated, and I think that's one of the strongest things you could learn yourself, to be really self-motivated. I mean, when I was writing, I think I said when I was writing the script, I would put the script over the 6-7 years that I wrote the script in total. I would put the script pages or the outlines on the wall, not in a drawer, because if in the drawer I don't see it, and every night I come back or I go out and I see it on the wall, and I think this is unfinished. It's not. I need to finish it. I need to finish it. I need to finish it. So you need to be self-motivated. It's very difficult, because you think when you go to school and you study, you think when you finish a director degree or foundation or something, you think no one is going to give you a job at the end of it. They won't. Nobody will. The industry won't give you a job. It's a fact. And it doesn't matter if you're Spain or UK, nobody will give you a job. You have to prove yourself. So to prove yourself, you have to make things, and you have to believe in yourself and take your time. And it's a slow process. It takes a very, very long time. And self-motivation and patience is like... And also, I think important as well, we talked about the industry, because when you're in school, you don't see so much of the industry. And when you start going to markets and film festivals and you have networking, you network with people, it's also important to know that, no one's going to fight for your film as much as you do. And also don't wait for permission. Sometimes as a student, I was feeling like I had to wait for somebody to write me a check or a producer to say, yeah, good work, this is really good, we should make it. And I think, it's good to find people, producers, to be on your side, but I think sometimes it's just like, you can't wait for a decision, you have to just go ahead and do it, really. So, yeah.
Ok, pues yo creo que ya es suficiente, ¿no? Con esa, si alguien tiene alguna pregunta que hacerle antes de finalizar.
Why Granada? Like, what made you come here? And then what made you make a movie about it? Like, what's so special about it for you?
So I think, short answer is somebody told me to visit Granada while I was backpacking. And when I came here, I was kind of mesmerized by the place, by the beauty. But of course, as a tourist, you see the Alhambra Palace, and the streets and the people and the food, and it's just very intoxicating. It feels like a little bit like a golden prison in a way, because you can't escape it. It's like a beautiful place, and you kind of don't want to, but then you kind of want to as well to get out of it. And it's a very encapsulated place. And a lot of people I spoke to, a lot of foreign people who are based here, they say the same thing. It feels like it's a golden prison in a way. And I got obsessed by the place. My friends moved here, they started working here. So then I came back to study here because I thought this is a great, perfect place, not too big, not too small. I started studying, and then I made these friends who were like quite close to me in a way, because we were sharing these new experiences. And then there's a special bond because of that. And it didn't matter where we were from. I think identity was starting to be mixed. We were all kind of foreigners. There's a scene in the film that talks about this actually, that we're all foreigners in the city. Even the Spanish are foreigners in the city. We were all foreigners in the city. And because of this shared experience, we connected, and I just wanted to capture that. That was the reason of, I wanted to capture it for them and for myself. But the more I worked on it, it was more, a lot of people were feeling the same thing, so I wanted to capture this.
The other question that I have for you is, somewhat more related to like the industry and those kind of things. It's we students that are finishing our degree and have been trying to like with little time that we have making movies and like try to or carry out projects. We some of us feel like we've been insisting to like other people from the industry and like try to make us away on it. So we've been insisting like kind of not physically violently, but like with violence, right? Because there's this industry that is closed, and we always feel like we have to like, break the doors of it or like break a wall to get in. Like, what would you say that is the best way to to achieve that? Is it more something related to like become friends with people from the inside, or just make room and try to like the rest of the people that are the viewers?
Well, the thing is, it's funny, but I don't think I've broken into the industry. You know, it's like, and I know who's it, Julia Delphi, who did before Sunrise movies, and she did a Marvel movie and now a TV series for Netflix, I think, on The Verge. And she just recently said, look, it's impossible to get my film made. I'm having so many meetings, and and so many famous directors can't get their films made because it's extremely difficult. And then you realise the industry is kind of a bit, the way we are on the edge of the industry trying to break in, the industry is quite small, really. It's a very small industry. So it's like, you have to be persistent, of course. You have to kind of go to film festivals and networking and talk to people and get to parties and stuff. I remember, I went to Cannes, I didn't know anybody, and I didn't have any invitation to any of the parties. And when I talk parties, I'm talking about the daytime networking events where each country sometimes does a little party, and you go and you meet other producers from Spain or Poland and cinematographers and it's always a special invitation. So it's not for you; it's for the people they know. It's the industry, right? You can't get in. So what we did was just we crashed the parties. We went through the back way. We lied who we were, and then we got into the room. And it was like, okay, fuck this. We're in the room. Let's work the room. Like we're lucky to be here. I mean, if you think about it, we are privileged to make films. Even for fun, we're privileged to do this. We're very lucky. It's not making a film. It's not difficult, Be a refugee from Syria coming to Europe. That's difficult. Crossing the channel and with your family, and then the family dying and stuff, and things, and the terrible things that happened. COVID and people going through this. That's hard work. Making films not hard work. So it's kind of being constantly persistent, and getting into that room and working that room and just saying, look, okay, I'm here now, but also not waiting for them to say to you, yeah, you're in, It's not their place to say you're in. You make good stuff, you get into film festivals, you don't need them, they'll come to you. They'll knock on your door, they'll start sending you emails. And that's what happens, in a way. You send them so many emails and say, I need, please support and all this. And the industry is very busy all the time. And then when you start making some noise and you win some awards, and they start to contact you, and it's... And then, once you're in that room and you meet these people, they're actually very nice people. The industry is actually very nice. It's just like this system, this gatekeeping system to block people out. It's just a really, really... Sometimes it's necessary, sometimes it's unnecessary, but it's not great. It's, young people need support, they need, more initiatives and more apprenticeships and things like this, and more ways that you can see that you can get into the industry. You can work your way up. You can be a runner and production person and go up to being a producer. So, I think we need more of this. But the people that actually, when you get in there into that room and you're talking to them, they're lovely, actually. I mean, a lot of the industry is really, they are really supportive. It's just getting through that front door, getting past the bouncer and doing anything you can to get past them,
I have one last question. That is, what would you say to a person that is not from the city or this country that wants to film here like you did? Like, what advice would you give to those people?
Speak to Julio. Contact him, because I wish he was here when I was doing the movie. I was telling him earlier, because he was telling me what he does, and I think there's a lot of other initiatives in the city that are really helpful for international productions. It's growing, but when we were here, there was nothing, and it was, sometimes it's easier when there's nothing because you can get away with more stuff. But it's good. It's really massive help, like to have people like Julio and who can really provide you with on the ground, point directions of if you need a DOP from, if you need certain people and gaffers and things like that, and he can point you in the right direction. And I think finding someone like that, or finding in another city or other country a local person, I think is really, really essential. I think if you've got a big production, then people do co-productions with other producers. But on a student level, on a young level, independent level, then it's usually trying to find a local fixer, usually, or a production person.
Thank you.
Has elegido para presentar tu película a veces y te gusta tener encuentros con estudiantes. ¿Dedicas tiempo de tus viajes para hacer encuentros con jóvenes, tanto en la universidad como por ejemplo, este encuentro? ¿Por qué crees que es tan importante o para ti participar en estas actividades, ¿no? Y llevar tu película a ese escenario, ¿no? Al encuentro con los jóvenes?
I guess I'm just fascinated by, I still think I'm young, so I'm fascinated by this period in your life, because I think the moment where you leave your parents' house to the moment you get married, this period of your life, you own yourself. You have full control, almost. You have full control of what you want to study, everything. And I think this is a very moment of growth, and it's, it's a moment of extreme learning, intense learning. And I'm just fascinated by this period, because, a lot of us, like young people who are, single as well, they're just so free. The freedom is there to try anything, and the options are so many. And I think also there's a fear that you get comfortable with this, and you think that in life you always have lots of options, but as you get older they get shorter and shorter and shorter. And I think it's just important to reach out to those people and just help and support, because I had it, I got it, and I think it's part of your duty in a way to give back. Part of making this movie is because Granada kind of changed my life in a way, my personality, and for me, making the film is to give back to Granada as well, to give back to the city and show my love in this way. But I think, it's definitely, I think this goes back to the previous question about the industry helping. I think you have to. It's like you have to help. It's a duty. If you made it, you've got to help people. Well, personally, I don't think I've made it. I made one film. I'm not Scorsese or someone. So, but if I can give a little bit of advice or a little bit of encouragement or help, then I think it's our duty, for sure. It's important.
Okay, thank you very much.
Bueno, pues yo creo que es el momento de acabar, ¿no? Este primer encuentro con cineastas, con Abid. Agradecemos de nuevo a Abid. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Very interesting talk.
The film is in Megarama on Friday for 2 weeks. So.
¿Qué hora es?
Se estrena mañana, viernes, a las 8:15, y después su película se puede ver durante 1 week or 2 weeks?
I think it's for 1 to 2 weeks, but assume it's just 1 week, so watch it as quick as possible. And,
en principio, por una semana o dos, en Megarama estará disponible para ir a verla, y si hay pues más público, más demanda, pues estará más tiempo.
We're also nominated for 4 Premiers Lorca awards for Best Film, Director, Writer, Cinematography. So fingers crossed for this.
I don't know.
Okay.
Está nominada para 4 premios de estos Festival de Cine de Premios Lorca. Esperemos que consiga esos 4 premios. I hope you will win.
I've won already.
Okay.
To show it to the people of Granada, that's the win.
Okay.
So you don't need awards.
Y también esperemos que pueda hacer pues esa serie que está planificando ahora para una plataforma localizada en Granada y en Andalucía, que está ahora mismo empezando a crecer, ¿no? Está empezando a escribir el guión, ¿no? Y que, bueno, que tenga mucho éxito en su carrera como director y como guionista. Thank you.
No, muchas gracias, thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Mucho éxito.
Y gracias a vosotros también por acudir a este encuentro.
Muchas gracias.